it's amazing how we just want to like hug you after that, right, Gene? So like, I mean, like that, like I think that's an incredibly great technique, right? Going, you know, I really like what you're wearing. I heard you speak last week. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much. You know, just starting with a compliment.
I like your shoes.
I've never heard that one. It's like when you are walking down the street of like Congress Street in Portland and people want to take pictures and pictures of you and your shoes to send to their friends. Yeah. So you've got to own it. When you wear shoes like this, you got to own whatever you're going to get. And there's some good stuff and there's not some not good stuff. But again, complimenting people, connecting with people on that way, starting off on a really positive note is, you know, a wonderful way to start conversations. It's also a really great way to rebuilding relationships, right? If you saw that somebody got an award, somebody just got a promotion on social media, congratulate them, even if it's a month or two later. Just, you know, start with that congratulations to you. You definitely have earned that. Great. What else? What else did you learn?
We talked a little bit about digging deeper.
Yeah, so how do you dig deeper?
When we had the first conversation about where they currently work, but then realized they had a past life and that we might actually know them from their past life or had connections there. But we wouldn't have known that if we hadn't asked the question to dig a little deeper. So once we did that, it was like, oh yeah, we have additional connections we wouldn't have known about.
Right. And I mean, I think, unfortunately, what happens, I mean, we do this really throughout lifetime. So I work with a lot of young folks. I do a lot with students. And one of the things that we do is we start at a very young age to really, I think, limit people instead of, having an endless possibilities, right? So we start at a really young age with kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, there's only one thing, right? Like, you can be 100 things. You can be 1,000 things. So why are we asking 5-year-olds to pick one thing? And then they get in high school and they're like, where are you going to school? Well, what are you going to major in? Like, again, I don't know. I've got 1,000 interests. Why do I have to, limit myself to one major? But then because we've been programmed that way, then we start limiting ourselves. We start limiting ourselves by our job title, right? I talk to managers all the time. Don't limit your people by a job title. They have so many more skills that you're not paying them for, but you can use them. And for employees, I say, you have tons of skills. Don't be limited by your job description, right? Like, we have so many other things we can offer organizations and offer people. So again, one of the things we do sometimes in these we limit ourselves to that business part, right? We limit ourselves to those few sort of questions we tend to ask all the time at business events by just going a little deeper, by talking about where you grew up, talking about, like, are you connected with a church or whatever. It's a way to then find common connections. And there's nothing better than a common connection. Somebody came over and introduced themselves to me saying, hey, we have a common person in our lives. And that was amazing, right? So those kinds of things definitely build deeper relationships, right? So I think you guys are pretty amazing. So I'm gonna let you go back and sit down for a minute. All right, so again, this is what part of it is. It's just doing what you're already doing. We got business cards going, love that. So this is, you all know how to do this. You all know how to have dialogue. So now you've got some additional questions. You guys all set? Excellent. So what we want to make sure, we're networking for sure. It never ends. Networking happens all the time. So what we want to do is just take what we're already doing and just, a couple more questions, dig a little deeper, try something different the next time. That's all you need to do. The more you can kind of just keep adding another question, adding another step, getting a little more comfortable, it's amazing. Like, what you've been doing today can just be multiplied, and you'll be amazed at what you can do in a larger group. This is a good group, but like, what if this was 150 people? We're gonna talk about a little bit of how to work the room, but we're gonna talk about next is, so these are just some additional things. You all can have access to the PowerPoint. The chamber may have it. I have my contact information. I can send it to you directly. So we're just gonna keep moving though. And again, obviously, nobody has time, right? We're all super busy. But if you don't invest now, it's only gonna take more time in the future. Because again, this saves time, right? By doing all of this upfront work, it saves time. I have not applied for a job in 25 years, but I've had 3 jobs. I've worked for 3 different companies in 25 years. People have reached out to me. I did not reach out to them. I did not apply for the job. They reached out to me. I speak all over the state of Maine. A lot of speakers have to do RFPs to say, hey, I'd like to come and speak for you. I haven't done an RFP for 25 years. So when you have invested your time into creating networks and people know you, then they call you. And whenever I run into a problem, so even though I'm known very much kind of as like an HR expert, right, Chris, you and I are sort of some of the experts of HR in the state, but I'm not really like smarter. I don't have more knowledge than others. I just have a bigger network maybe than others. So when I run into a stumbling block or I'm working on something new, I reach out to several of my colleagues and say, hey, I'm working on this. Do you have something new? Can you share what you're using? And that saves me tons of time, right? Because I don't have to reinvent the wheel. So it really does save you time long term. So again, I know we're all busy, but honestly, this will save you time in the long run. So again, we've all heard about elevator pitches. Maybe you guys have an elevator pitch. Some of you may have an elevator pitch to sell your businesses or services. But we all should be working on kind of an elevator pitch, because this is another way, like preparation, by having just kind of a little pitch about ourselves, having practiced it a little bit, kind of making it like perfect or as perfect as we can get, that can help as well, right? So everyone knows what an elevator pitch is, right? I'll give you a little stuff. It's just, what would you say if you were in an elevator that took 30 seconds to get to the top, and you met, say, the CEO of my bank? What would you tell him about yourself, right? So again, there's no magic to this. You can do it in any way you want. I'm literally going to give you an example. I'm making this up. I really don't have a current elevator pitch. I obviously have had elevator pitches in the past. I might use something I've used in the past, but I'm literally making up this morning, right now. So this is how easy it can be. So my elevator pitch. Good morning, my friend, my equally loud friend. I love people that embrace their volume. So besides that, I am David Pease. I'm the Senior Vice President of Diversity at Bangor Savings Bank. I have been doing human resources for 40 years. But unlike a lot of HR people, I believe I'm a strategic and transformational leader. One of the things I do for my organization is creating a safe environment where people can perform at high levels and people can be their authentic selves. So I would love to share more of that if I could help you with that knowledge. But my true superpower is I'm just super fun. And even in the hardest times, I can get people to laugh and I can get people to work together. So it's so great meeting you.
You too.
So that's an elevator pitch, right? Simple. And it was all made up. It just happened on the spot. So I want you guys to practice an elevator pitch. I'll give you like 1 minute to think about what you want to say. And of course, you're going to practice it with one of your new friends. So 1 minute to practice. Don't speak for a minute. Just kind of let everyone get their thoughts a little bit. All right, everybody be quiet for 1 minute. Let people think. Some people need time to think. Some of us don't need time. Some people need time. So 1 minute to think. What's your elevator pitch? All right, you can go. Just deliver, each of you deliver it to each other. You just need to find one person. Deliver it once, hear one. All right, let's do it fast. How are we doing? How are we doing with time? 15? Okay. All right. Can I get your attentions again? All right, can I get everybody's attention? Thanks. Yeah, I should have just made you talk the whole time. It would have been a lot easier for me. It's hard to bring you back. All right, everybody ready to kind of go on? So again, elevator pitches, it's just, again, it's a way to, sort of do what I call like your tagline, your commercial for yourself. And again, you do want to modify it, based upon the audience, based upon what you're doing. But it is a really quick way of getting people to know you. It's also it's a great way, I tell, all the young people I work with, it's also great if they ask you the interview question, tell me about yourself. It's also really good at the end of an interview to like basically answer the question, why should I hire you? Even if they don't answer the question, ask you the question, you should hire me, and do your little pitch. So those are good interview advice as well. So again, this is not just networking skills. These are things that you can use in all kinds of ways. All right. So I know for a lot of people, kind of working the room, it's kind of hard, right? Like and again, I love working a room. I love when there's 100 or 200 or 500 people in a room, to see how many corners I can get to, how many people can I cover in an hour or 2 hour event. So I really like it, but I know that it can be really intimidating for folks. So, I think the first thing is just be interested in people, right? And again, if you're just not in it, if you're tired, like I'm kind of emotionally tired. I've been running up and down the state. I still got to go to New Hampshire tomorrow. I'm going to Orono, back to Portland, and then New Hampshire tomorrow. So by like tomorrow night, I'm supposed to be going to a networking event, but I'm not doing it because I'm just not going to be emotionally ready. I'm just not going to have myself to be there, so I'm not going, right? So again, you have to make those choices. But when you are ready and when you should be out there, even sometimes when you're tired a little bit, the first thing is just be interested in others, compliment them, be curious about them. The more that is genuine and you just really want to learn more about folks, they're going to share and they're going to connect with you. Again, I didn't bring my name tag, as I said, bad networker, but wear it on the right side. So especially because it is important, like if we're shaking hands, that if somebody is shaking hands, they can look at your name. I meet literally thousands of people a year, and I see them in all different things. So sometimes people have to tell me, like I may see all of you in Portland, and I will think, okay, who is this person in Portland? I won't know that I met you in Waterville. So sometimes I know I can recognize the face, but I don't remember the name or I don't remember the context in which we met. So I think that's always good. It was obviously handshaking is a pretty common business practice, but I think post-COVID, we shouldn't just assume everybody wants to shake hands. So I think the first thing we want to do is, are you shaking hands? So I think now that's the courtesy. Again, fist bumps work, elbow bumps work, or just saying hi, and for the huggers in the room, and for when you know somebody really well, let's give big hugs. So again, know the person, but again, we do have to be a little bit more thoughtful about asking. I think that's probably what's changed. Again, remember your body language. If you're slouching, if you're not really into the person, if you're not seeming that interested, that counts for like 60% of the messaging, right? So the nonverbal is as important as what you're saying. GNAP just means greeting name. So good morning, David Pease, affiliation Bangor Savings Bank, and the purpose. I'm here to speak about networking. Business cards, I already saw some business cards exchanged. Some people don't have business cards. Just try to get information. I try to immediately connect with people on LinkedIn. So when I meet you, I try to immediately put you in LinkedIn. It's just a really good way. It's my online platform.
I just sent you a request.
Fabulous. And I will accept it. I will accept it. But that's really good. But that's really helpful. And a lot of people don't do that. I really encourage everyone who interacts with me to connect with me. So if they want to ask me a question in the future, they can. But you would be shocked. Like when I say it to an event like this, sometimes I might only get 4 requests. So it's really interesting. So sometimes just doing that sets you apart from other people, right? So again, understanding so many people don't do the follow-up. And that's really the most important part of networking, right? Like we could have had an amazing conversation, but if we don't follow up, we're gonna forget about it a couple of days from now.
What was the A in now?
Affiliation, so like your company. So again, follow-up is number one. We're running out of time. So again, I'm sorry, I thought that's what we were just doing. So again, you definitely want to have like business cards, pens. The other big thing for me is I'm always eating and drinking. Surprise. So again, I'm very good though at a networking event to keep my right hand open so I can shake hands. I can talk with my hands because of course I got to do that. So again, whatever you need, but like don't have both hands full. Don't like be having your dinner there because again, the purpose is to network, right? The purpose is to interact with people. If you really are starving, go in the corner, grab some food, and then go back out with your hands open to connect. So it's little things like that that I think is really important. And again, a lot of this is just about being remembered and having people the next time they see you say, hey, it's great seeing you again. It's really not about trying to collect 5,000 names or creating a network that's bigger than anyone else's. It's not a competition. This is a resource for us, right? All right. So again, we know now that it's not just about meeting people. There's fewer opportunities now in post-COVID. So we do have to be networking and using social media, right? Social media is really, really important. So I think there's a way for you all to start making sure your social media is getting some attention. You can take a picture of your group. You can take a selfie. You can take a picture with me. But I think you should take a photo and I think you should put it on your social media and say, attend an amazing breakfast, hashtag Mid-Maine Chamber, hashtag Epic Networker. So that is one of the ways. So put it on LinkedIn, put it on social media, but make sure, well, tell them you're going to take their picture.
Okay, all right, everyone else okay about that?
All right, she's taking a selfie of the table. But do you understand that by just doing the extra step, by again, taking this activity and letting people know that you are open to networking, that you are trying to meet more people, is a way for you to build your brand, right? And it's a way for you to have, content on social media. Because, like a lot of people on LinkedIn, they never post, so I don't see them, right? Part of it is to stay top of mind with people. And I'm not a great LinkedIn poster. If you want to see my food and shoe pics, follow me on Facebook. But on LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of the young people I work with. But I do post because it is important for you to occasionally remember me when a post comes up from me, right? So, but this is an important part of just keeping yourself present in people's lives. So again, use opportunities like this to just make sure you're letting people know you're open for networking. So I really think this is probably all we need. Again, just have fun. Hopefully, have you guys had fun? Did you have fun this morning, really? Are you more relaxed about networking? Because that's really all we wanted this to do, right? So again, here is my sort of contact information, but does anyone have questions? I think we have about 4 minutes left. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say one thing. As an introvert, these kind of situations are often difficult for me. Oh, sorry. So as an introvert, these situations can be uncomfortable for myself. But I give myself the space to take a break and to recharge and then go back in.
Yeah. Extroverts need to take a break too.
Yeah,
they really do. Because extroverts are out there all the time. I'm out there for 12 or 14 hours a day. So by Friday night, I'm like, time for just being home and getting wrapped up in my blankie and recharging.
But recharging, I think,
But yeah, I mean, obviously, introverts need more recharging. And that's the thing, is like if you're at, say, a week conference, you're not going to be able to network every night, right? So just pace yourself, right? Like making sure, like looking at what's happening for that week conference, deciding when you're going to do networking. So you do need to kind of know yourself. For some of us, we do get energy from like events like this. And for a lot of you, it drains energy really quickly. So just be aware of yourself, but you still need to do it, right? Like your personality, your type doesn't really prevent us or is an excuse for us not to do it. Other questions? Any learnings you want to share? Yes, Nancy.
I am the female version of you.
We're so colorful. I love it.
Yeah, I do. Mine aren't as sparkly though. But I wanted to say that I love sending and receiving letters in the mail. And I think that that's an art that has been lost with email and social media, but it's incredibly powerful when you send someone a letter in the mail with a stamp and you actually put it in a mailbox, and it means you've taken the time to think about them and think about a message. And I use that often. I shared with my table that yesterday I sent Valentines to all of my employees to thank them for all of their hard work with a little gift card to Hannaford's. So I know that that will mean a lot when they receive that.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot when we receive it, right? I mean, for as much as we want to just be verbal and we're working so fast paced, taking that extra couple of minutes to write a handwritten card to somebody, because then you're customizing it, right? Part of what we didn't really talk about is the importance of customization, right? If we treat everybody the same, soon people are gonna know you got the same spiel for everybody. But once we can customize for the person, making sure that this person likes horses, so find a car with horses. Whatever it is, just the more you can customize it, the more you can make it personal. And I do think you want to sort of alternate the way you deliver and connect with people, right? So if everything you do is verbally or through email, what a nice thing to get a card to take that time. So great advice, Nancy. Any other advice to share? Any other comments? You're good. You're all now epic networkers, right? Again, the world needs you, right? We have to remember the world needs you. Your voice matters. Connecting with others. You may have an experience. You may have knowledge that somebody's going to need at any given time. That's the other thing, right? We don't know when people may need us. And by just taking a moment to spend with them, you may really make a difference in people's lives. It was really interesting. I was doing a training session with employees at Bangor Savings Bank yesterday, and it was a big group, and most of them were rather new employees, and I didn't know a lot of the people in the room, which is rare for me. But of course, I used the opportunity to try to get to know who they are. And we were at a break, and this one woman came up, and she's like, "I just want to introduce myself." I'm like, "Hi," and she introduced herself. She's like, "I met you at Husson University 3 years ago, and you were so positive, and you made me feel so good." I'm like, "I want to work with that guy." So I joined Bangor Savings Bank 6 months ago, and I just wanted to let you know that it's because I met you 3 years ago. 3 years ago. So that is how one moment, one interaction, that all you're doing is being you, affects somebody's life. So do great things in the world. And if I can help in any way, contact me through email, LinkedIn, or any other social media. Thank you.